Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the relatively new Transformers Dark of the Moon Studio Series number 16 Autobot Ratchet. This figure is a straight up repaint of the first wave Deluxe Class Ratchet that we got for the first movie. The only addition here are the extra paint applications and the inclusion of Ratchet's cannon. As always, we'll take a very quick look at the packaging and the backdrop, and then we'll take a detailed look at Ratchet. Taking a very quick look at the packaging, as you can see, we've got a really nice CGI render of Ratchet in his Dark of the Moon colour scheme, Autobot Ratchet from Transformers Dark of the Moon. The side of the packaging has another really cool image of Ratchet from the movie, and the back of the packaging just showcases the figure in the robot mode, the vehicle mode, a brief bio about Ratchet's role in Dark of the Moon, as well as that he does include an additional backdrop. You've also got some of the other figures in the wave, and finally this other side of the packaging just showcases a closer image of Ratchet, and that he is a deluxe class figure. As with all of these Studio Series figures, Ratchet does in fact include a backdrop from the movie that he is based upon. In this case, it is the highway bridge from Dark of the Moon that Optimus Prime and Sentinel have their final battle on. It's definitely very refreshing to have a different backdrop, as usually we're used to the first movie Mission City battle scene. So to get something from another movie is definitely very cool. And the figure can be displayed in the display base as shown on the back of the packaging. And here we have Ratchet in his vehicle mode. Now this review is going to be more of a comparison between this version and the first version. This is literally a straight up repaint just with an additional accessory and minus the buzzsaw. So first off, we'll take a quick look at the details of the figure. In this instant, Ratchet's face has been picked out in a nice silver paint, something which was absent on the original version. As you can see, the figure is done in a neon, very bright looking green, which is actually my preferred look for Ratchet. Instead of going with a white plastic, they have decided to go with this kind of muted grey. I do believe that this was the right decision, as white plastic does tend to turn yellow, especially when exposed to sunlight, and this is definitely a fair enough colour substitute. As you can see, the figure is detailed fairly nicely. The paint applications are quite minimal in the robot mode. As you can see, he is minusing some of the paint applications as seen on the first version, such as the silver painted shins and the silver painted toes. Some smaller details that are missing are the painted headlights on the top of Ratchet's arms. However, no paint applications that massively draw back the look of the figure. The articulation is exactly the same as that first version. The head is on a swivel joint so it can look side to side. The arms are on very stiff ball joints so they can move forwards and backwards and also up and down. There is a rotation just above the elbow section. There is actually a double jointed elbow due to transformation. There is no waist articulation, however the legs can kick forwards that far and backwards that far. They can also do the splits. There is also a thigh joint just above where the ball joint for the leg is. There is a more than 90-degree bend at the knee due to the transformation. And finally, the feet are on ball joints, allowing you to pivot them left and right and also forwards and backwards. So overall for articulation on this figure, it's fairly decent. Turning to the brand new weapon that Ratchet comes with, he does actually come with his Emp Blaster as seen in the second and third movie. I do believe he did use it briefly in the first film as well. As you can see, it has been sculpted fairly nicely. However, there are no paint applications on it at all, which does mean that some of the details are fairly lost in the sculpt. However, it is still a nice enough weapon nonetheless. And I do actually prefer Ratchet having a gun as opposed to the buzzsaw. It does just plug into either one of his arms, and due to these being 5mm ports, you can peg the cannon into Ratchet's arm. Unfortunately, I do have a slight loose joint on this elbow, so he doesn't always hold the weight of the cannon extremely well. However, utilising the second joint in the elbow, he can hold it in a variety of different ways. For a quick comparison, here is the brand new Dark of the Moon Ratchet compared to the first movie. As you can see, they are exactly the same mold. However, as I stated when I did the detail section of this video, this Ratchet is missing some paint applications that this one had. As you can see, this version does actually have a completely painted face, where this one was only the mouthpiece, but you can see that the headlights on this section here are missing, where they are picked out in a blue paint here. There are also some details on the shins of the figure that are missing, as well as on the base of the toes. That's it in terms of the missing paint applications that I believe could have been incorporated into this figure. As you can see, this one does come with the silver buzzsaw, which you can put onto this figure, and vice versa with the gun. But overall, personally for me, I do prefer the Dark of the Moon version, as I was never really a fan of this yellow colour scheme. Now, quickly turning to the transformation segment, I'm not going to go over this in as much detail as I normally would, as this mould has been out for some time. This is just a drastic repaint. Start off, you just want to rotate the head so that the back is facing forward. Lift this section and tab it in just like so. Fold these pieces out all the way just like that, and then spin the wheels in just like so on both sides. What you're then going to want to do is take this torso section and just completely detach it from this section here. Turning to the back of the figure, you're then going to want to take the whole back assembly, lift it up and fold that section out just like so. What I then like to do is come to the front of the figure and take the front piece of the vehicle and then take the head and the arms and rotate them all the way around just like so. so that you completely swivel the head to the bottom of the figure. I then like to take the legs and bring them in on the knee joints like so. Take the feet sections here and just angle them down so that this little tab here is exposed. Do the exact same step on this side. You are then going to want to line them up so that you create this groove section here. Fold out these pieces either side just to allow for clearance. Then what you'll want to do is bring them up just like so, and this section here will plug into this groove here, so you're going to want to line it up as best as you can. Just collapse this whole piece down and try and line the feet up within until you hear them snap into place on both sides, just like this. I like to keep these sections out, as when you push the doors in, this just gives you a little bit more clearance. Coming to the top of the figure, you're now going to want to bring the arms upwards like this. Bend the elbow all the way around so that you have aligned it so that it looks somewhat like this. And then what we're going to want to do is collapse this whole section in upon itself. Now this section, you're actually going to want to get under this bumper section. So to do this, just maneuver it and push it under just like that. And then there is a small tab there that will just slot into this slot on the arm, just like so. And there you have got one side of Ratchet done. Just close this section up like so. Repeat the exact same process on this side. Fold back the arm, pull it back, and then launch this section underneath the bumper. Tab that section in, close that up, and there you have Ratchet more or less in his ambulance alt mode. Quite a nice looking alt mode, and as I stated earlier, this is actually my preferred look for Ratchet in the movies. As you can see, you've got some details such as fire department, the E4 symbol, the Autobots emergency fire department. The front of the vehicle has got some of the headlights picked out in a blue turquoise paint. Same detailing on the other side of the vehicle, and the back has got a metallic paint used for the rear windows. Comparing it to the first version, as you can see, he is missing some more details such as the turquoise blue painted lights on the top of the roof. That is something that I wish they had included. They have skimped out on that massively, which is such a shame, as I really think that this could have been a really nice looking alt mode. Personally, in the vehicle mode, I do believe that this is probably painted better, has more detail on it than this version. But nonetheless, this is still my preferred version due to the darker green colour scheme. For weapon storage, the gun does tab into the same spot as the buzzsaw did. So as you can see there is a little port on the top of the tyre, which the gun will just plug into just like so. So you can have Ratchet having a somewhat stealth alt mode. So overall, what do I think of this figure? Personally, I do believe that it is a nice entry into the Studio Series line. I do actually quite like this mold of Ratchet, and the Dark of the Moon colours definitely helped to sway me in liking this a lot more than the first version. Do I believe that this should have been released as soon as it was? Personally, no. I do believe that they should have released a few more different figures and then started giving us the repaints. However, as it is a drastically different paint job and you do get the addition of the extra gun, I do think that this mold is definitely worth double dipping in order to get. I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you did, please leave a comment and subscribe. And until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.